Hi everyone, I want to just talk about the earth, the world that we live in. I want to do a journey into is there any sentient beings on this earth that live with us right now? So I want to do a journey into the world as it is. So we have the human race. Is there any other beings that want to relay a message to the world? So I'm going to go into that. There's so many things out there that I'm just taking all that and throwing it away because I don't want to have anything to pollute what it is that I see. So what do I see is going to be what I experience. And what that is going to be something that you're going to experience. So it should be interesting. And I don't know what to expect because I don't normally do journeys this way. And one of the things you could do as well is if you have any ideas and things that you might want me to do, any healing, any specific things you want me to look at, just put them in the comments because it's always nice to be able to look at that. It doesn't mean I'm going to be able to answer your questions or do journeys into them, but it's just nice to have that ability because I get so much stuff inside my head, so much stuff that I've done that sometimes you're just left with a blank. What am I going to do next? And when people actually say things, there's okay, I never thought of that. Because there's so many gods, there's so many spirits, there's so many things, so many angels, so many ideas, so many things that's happened in the world. It's always best to get a person's something holds close to the individual and that you never thought about or you never thought of it in that way. So we'll leave that at that, and I'm just going to go directly into the journey. So I'm looking at the world, and I'm saying in the physical world or in the semi-physical world, because sometimes beings live in a semi-physical space, but it's still in the physical world, because I want to actually look at the world, and I want something besides human beings on this world that coexist with us or come and visit us. But I want more of the coexistence, though. Something that has stays here. It's most of its life, if not all its life. Something that likes to stay hidden, maybe, because it's obviously if we knew about it, we would know about it more readily. I'm standing in front of a large cave, and this cave is a massive opening. And you can spend all kinds of time searching this cave, but you're never going to find anything. So it's like they're almost saying that you could spend all your time looking for these beings and you would never see them unless they want you to find them. I say, okay, what is it that you want to show us or share with us? And all I see is figures that have cloaks over their faces. They don't want to be seen. They just want to live their life. But at the same time, they do observe us. And I see that I'm in like, they, in behind a glass and they put their hands up and their hands are kind of webbed, actually. You can see they're like a reptilian race, actually, believe it or not. And but then it kind of goes this specific scenario. Then it moves back and goes back into the shadows. There's a being that walks up to me that's blue. It's like baby, like white and blue, like a lighter blue, but also white. It's like the top of the head would be white, it moves down into blue, but it's like a bluish white that moves down into more of a darker blue. And their eyes are like a pale blue, but they're like a pale blue with a black center. They have very fragile looking hands, like very long skinny fingers, whitish fingernails. I'm just looking at their faces. What do the faces look like? It's hard to really it's like they show certain aspects and then they pull into the shadows, so that you're just meant to hear the specific details that I'm telling you. They have no hair though, but that's one thing that is obvious, and they're very thin, and heads are very, like, they're obviously smooth, but there's actually a transition from white to blue, but there's also like speckles in that transition. And their eyes are human-like, sort of. They're not black balls of like an alien, like like you would see with the gray aliens, or nothing like that. But they're very skinny though, like a gray alien. And they move back into the shadows. And it seems like the reptilians and this other blue race know each other. There seems to be quite a few, actually. And they could continue to move forward with this, but I want to just talk to one specific one. I don't want to start going through all these possibilities. I want to focus on one specific one. So that one being with the webbed hand is also aquatic. They can swim very, very well. So I'm just looking at both of them, and they both walk forward, and they're both looking at each other, and they nod. And the blue one walks forward, and it puts its hand on my forehead, but it feels female to me. But she has no like you say, like boobs or anything like that. It's just very smooth. But she's definitely female, and her hands are very, like, really long fingers and smaller palms. And it's like you put the fingernails, like the whole fingers would go right over your whole face. And she kind of puts her hand on my forehead, and her hands go up, like they're quite long fingers. And it's like I fall backwards into a pool of water. And I'm going down into the water. And there's a cave here. There's an entrance. It's not a huge entrance, but it's an entrance. But I guess as I get closer, the entrance is actually quite large. It's a very big entrance, and it goes down deep into the water. So it would be hard to really find this. Like, it could be anywhere. Like, we actually don't really have a lot of things that would go into these caves because we just don't explore them. Interestingly, though, that when you go into these places, there's caverns, and there's actually opened up into huge cave systems that don't even have to be that far underground. Like, they could be like 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet or 20,000 feet. It's like, it's not as far down as you think. And then when you go into these caves, they come up into these places that have air. And I'm actually in this place now, and I come up and it's like just a dark place because there's no light. But it is definitely a cave, though. It's a big cave system. Like they're kind of showing me in my mind how big the cave system is. So it shows that there's very well could be whole civilizations that live we might not even be aware. If they don't want to be found, how would you ever know they're there? And I'm walking down this place, and I'm coming across. It's not hot, but it's not cold either. It's like probably about. It's a cooler between 60, 70 degrees actually, and so it can be quite cool down here, but it's not hot. And I'm walking down this cave, and I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and it's endless. Huge places. Hmm. They're showing me that there's a very long way you have to go before you're ever going to cross where they live. Many different places. And it's interesting because maybe what I'm discovering is that you could be right in where they live and you might not even see it. It's like either they phase out of this reality or they have a technology that doesn't allow you to see them. You could be walking through their city, they would see everything that you're doing, and you necessarily don't see them. I get flashes of it though, and I'm aware that they're all around me, but I can't see them. It just looks like a dark cave. Maybe they're able to see in the dark. But then you think you just bump across something and but you don't trip over everything, so you're technically not there. And it's like they're telling me that it's not like it's just that they can see in the dark because the stuff isn't here. All you're able to see is a reflection of what it is inside your mind. But they could phase into this reality. They live in both. There's times where they actually come into this reality, and it has something to do with the rotation of around the sun. Certain times of the year, they do actually they phase into this reality for periods of time. I want to actually explore where they're from. So I just speed up the clock and watch this whole thing fades in. And it's like a massive underground cavern, and it's like everything's lit up really beautifully. And how to explain it? They do eat fish, though. Surprisingly, they eat physical food while they're here, because they say while they're here, they still have to sustain themselves. So they actually live off of fish and other things from the sea. Huh. It's interesting. Is there anything you can say about the human race, or say to the human race? They would never reveal themselves yet because people would not know how to coexist. They would just send people down here and destroy them. They've tried in the past, actually, and they just simply just. It's almost like they can't necessarily stop the phasing in and out. It seems like at certain times they're meant to come here and coexist, but there's other times they go off into a different place that they coexist there. So they're not actually technically living in a dimensional space. They're actually physical beings that move in and out of different dimensional spaces that are physical. They shift from one place to another, multiple planets, they say. They say they actually live in 3 different planets. And some accept one, actually, they say, accepts them. And they actually get along quite well. And they share all their ideas. This is one they're very afraid of this world. They're afraid of how they would be treated. They're afraid to come out and tell the world. And it's not getting any better. And the actual polluting of the oceans is actually something they've been really noticing. But they're able to counteract that by using, it's like a bluish, no, it is a bluish liquid. It's almost like ink they put on their food, and it actually counteracts any pollution that's inside it. So they keep their body pure. Because there's a lot of toxins in our food. It's actually killing our physical body, believe it or not. It's funny because the other ones were also aquatic, but they know each other. And they nod and say, yes, they do coexist with each other. And they help keep each other safe from us. They don't trust us because we're unpredictable. At one time, they were able to go way farther, way more interesting. They don't do that anymore. They very limited distance that they travel. So they have to attract things to the locations. It's like they found hormones in a way that they put in the water that attract the fish. Specific species of fish they actually prefer. And they grow, while they're here, they actually grow stuff inside the cave with the I'd say unnatural light, but the light that they use. And it gives off a very faint bluish tone, which they love the bluish tone because it enhances their colors. It actually makes them glow a bit. It's pretty. It's almost like the darker the blue it goes from light, which glows, but then the darker blue glows a different color. So their actually bodies glow just ever so slightly. It's not like a light bulb. It's far from that, but it's actually, they are luminescent in a way. It's quite beautiful, and that's created from the lights that actually absorbs into their skin, which reacts to it. They do this because when they go in different parts of the cave that aren't part of themselves, it's easy to see where they're going because they can keep track of each other. Because they prefer, and they can simply throw a cloak over themselves so they won't be noticed as well if they choose to be clothed. So what is it that you can tell us? Well, one of the things they're telling us is that we don't know how to coexist with other beings. It's a huge problem. It's funny because that's what the main message is that we don't know how to coexist with other beings. And that's a huge problem. Because we can't even coexist with each other. And it's a shame because they have so much medicines that they could help us with. They have technology that we don't understand. And that's when it comes to building things. Very ornate, beautiful buildings they have here. And they're master builders. And they do it very, very stress free, you could say. And it's almost like they're replicating buildings. It's like they have these things that they hold on to that when they're actually, for instance, if they did this into a solid wall, they could actually take that, cut a big chunk of rock out, place it over here, and even change the color of the rock with this machine and place it wherever they want to place it. So, and they've got these technologies from different races as well. So because they all, when there's the three planets that they go to, two of them they're sharing technology with each other. One is an ocean world and one isn't. One they actually live on solid land inside a massive cave system. They don't like the sun too much because the sun isn't, they don't like the sun. They're not designed to be in the sun. The sun will burn, like dry them out. You could say that's what they're saying, because it will dry them out. It's not that they're made up of more water than our bodies are, is what they're saying. So it's their skin itself has a lot of moisture in it. So they couldn't go in a desert, they would die very quickly. They want me to show me something. And they show me a nursery. When they give birth to many babies at once. And it's like eggs. And so they lay eggs. They're soft shells. They're like, if you touch them, they're squishy. And I'm trying to figure out the male and female. Is there a male and female? I'm asking that, and then they don't seem to understand the question, because there is no male or female. They're simply all like that. They're all very they give off feminine energy. There is some that are male that give off male energy, but there's no like need for fighters and warriors. So they all are very feminine in the sense they don't give off a warrior energy. I'm not saying guys do that, but I feel when I'm around them, they give off feminine energy. They're you could say that they're asexual, I guess, because they lay eggs and they're already fertilized with inside themselves. So there's only one. I'm trying to. So I ask, is there a male rate? Like, is there a male part? Is there male energy in this place? And there is, actually. There is male and female energies, but there's no sexual organs, so to speak. But there is male and female spirits inside them, is what she's saying. And she shows me that. She shows me the feminine energy inside herself. It's like she's literally able to produce a part of her soul. It's inside in the palm of her hand. And it shows her a representation of who she is. It's extraordinary. And the males are the same thing. So, but there's no need of warriors here, she says, because they're very peaceful. And at one time, they were able to coexist with other humans that were non-violent. But they're unpredictable, she says, and they don't want to interact with the human beings, not at this time. There's no, all like diseases are eradicated. There is no diseases because even the food that they eat, they can use medicines to take away all the toxins. It's the same thing with their body. This stuff is extraordinary. If we actually had this, there wouldn't be any disease in the world. This is what she says to us. That they're able to simply just cure all diseases and they live for ridiculously long periods of time. She's saying some of them people, some of these beings that were here for thousands of years. They've lived for, because their bodies are different. And the way they live is very. So I ask, well, what do you do for entertainment? She goes, puts her finger up, and she thinks she understands. It's not like we have entertainment, they have different forms of entertainment. And she's taken me to an actual place here, and I just want to take my time. This is nothing like I thought it would be. I keep getting an image of like not a holodeck, so to speak, but okay. They take me, there's a place that you can sit, and you put this, it's almost like virtual reality is the best way to describe it. But she says, no, it's not virtual reality. It's different. It's actually downloads the consciousness inside. So I'm just going to put this on. She says it's not going to work because I'm not actually here. Okay, so explain to me. So you do it. I'm just going to see what happens. So when they put the thing on their head, they actually can travel to different places in the universe and experience it. Kind of like what I do in Journeys. It's like that's what they do for entertainment. They grow things, they fish, they eat, they have regular everyday things, but the exploration of the universe is what they do through these machines. And their souls will go and travel the universe. And this is how they come through us. They actually wander the earth through the same way, so they can keep an eye on everything that's happening inside the world. Because it's not simply just projecting the consciousness. It's like they're actually there, and they can see. You can't see them because they're actually energy, like a spirit. But they're very well can keep an eye out at every aspect of the human race. And there's guards everywhere. They don't even have to actually physically go out. They're actually there in spirit. And as soon as something happens, they can back in their physical bodies, and they can simply just deal with the situation. And how they deal with it is simply close off the entrance to this place, so you wouldn't even know it existed. It looks like a solid wall. It's extraordinary. So what message do you have to the human race? She takes me by the hand and shows me the nursery again. A different one. They're older. The children, she says. And they're all studying. And it's like a classroom. And there's all different age groups. And they're like in a huge place. And they're in a classroom setting. And the table itself is like the place they're sitting is like a massive tablet, and they're able to explore different parts of the universe or the galaxy or the earth, and all these things are studying human behavior even in some of them. It's interesting because this is their classroom, this is their study, and they can actually put those headsets on, but they're guided by the teacher. And they're saying that this is what you do not do. You don't teach your children to explore and to see all these different cultures, to learn, to better themselves, to work as one. This is what she's saying. You don't teach your kids to work as one. You teach them to work as individuals. And that's one of our biggest problems, is that we have to start teaching our kids to work as one mind, as one body. And she claps her hands because we are one, she says. We work together in everything that we do. And she says a lot of cultures do that. They work together. They don't work against one another. No, there's no individuals. Everybody is as important as everyone else. Even when they have babies, the parents themselves don't just raise the child. Everyone does, because everybody becomes a parent. Because every child that was born in the community is just as important as everyone else. It's they're totally different concept. I said, so you don't know who your child is? She says, of course I know who my child is. These are all from me, but these are all part of me. Everything in the room, everyone in the room. That's the message she has for the human race, is that you need to be like this in order to be able to be. And she holds her hands up, and there's like our galaxies in her hands. In order to explore this, you need to be more like this, more like us. Because that's what she says. A lot of beings that explore the universe are one with each other. It's extraordinary. I have to come back here sometime, spend some time with them, and I touch my heart and I thank them. She actually gives me a hug. It's very weird though, because it's like she's such a different body structure than me. It feels like you got to be careful, you're going to break them, but she says we're tougher than we look, so I actually give her a real hug. Because I'm not sure what to do, because she's so fragile looking, but they're not fragile at all. Their skin is very cool to the touch though. And I thank her. And is there anything else she wishes to share? She goes like this to me and says, you are part of us now. And I say thank you, because I want her, like, this race of being is extraordinary, and I welcome them as part of my family. I asked them to help teach my own children and Abby's children, and teach them. Come to them, teach them to be like you, like one, to treat equals. And I say, keep working with the world inside their dreams. She says that's hard to do, because if we do this, we are risking ourselves. I said, okay. I said, you do know this is a video? And she says, yes, she understands. And she's okay with that. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? And that sun's creeping back. Well, that was unexpected. That's what's so cool about doing journeys sometimes, is that you experience something extraordinary. Extraordinary. I would be so open to them to come visit me any day. I think that's what the human race is missing, is obviously oneness. But beings like that, they can teach us. How can they teach us when we simply just kill them? Not me, but the fucking idiots that are running this place. We need to take control over our own world. But again, there's so many of us that are not very nice people. Thank you very much. And yeah, I got a new website, yukonskies.com, and I have josephbradleyroars.com and almanrostawakening.com. Too many websites. I got other ones too that I don't use anymore or closed down, and it's hard to keep track sometimes. Thank you very much, everyone, and it's been a pleasure. Take care.